Hello, Steve89. Well, I just had an odd moment. I was just doing stuff and I was listening to Midnight's Edge's podcast about Discovery Season 3, Episode 4. I often listen to Midnight's Edge. They were one of the first channels I started watching just after the whole Ghostbusters thing. I was researching that and I found a bunch of their videos, and then I started watching them once Discovery came out and they started talking about that. So I've been listening to them since, was that 2017? Yeah. It was after the 50th anniversary, so it was 2017 that show started. So I've been listening to them for years, and I do like them. Their rumours don't always turn out, but they say they're rumours, so that's okay. And they had someone on they've been having on recently, which is Mr. H. Now, Mr. H, besides being kind of hot and having that British accent and everything, he's a little... he comes off a little bit right-wing, and I'm not accusing him of anything, but like anyone cares. But he's bugged me a couple of times, just stuff he said, just political stuff. Like the Phantom Menace keeps going on about politics being put in, all our favourite sort of popular culture things, which is true, Star Wars, Star Trek, everything. But then you can't listen to a commentary about those shows without them bringing it up as well. As COVID has happened and with the election, everything's politics now. You can't see or talk about anything without politics being brought into everything. And they were talking for about an hour or so, I think. And then Mr. H started up, because we had a conversation on his, on one of his videos, similar. I can't remember it. I know I spoke to him because I remember making some slightly seedy comments. I always do that to straight guys. I just like to rattle them. It's funny. But I basically, he was saying, did I write it down? Yeah, I wrote it down. He said, Andre asked him about what it was like in the UK, because they're just going into their second lockdown because, they didn't go in soon enough. They didn't do their first lockdown properly. They didn't go into this one soon enough. They've got just huge infection rates, huge death rates. It's really disturbing. And he was playing everything down. He was saying that basically it's a joke. It's garbage, absolute joke. They're literally fabricating stats to scare everyone. And he basically was saying he's just done with everyone in his country because they're idiots, because they're believing it. So he was coming across as a bit of a COVID hoaxer. And I replied, I just put a message in, I just said, oh, great. Or, oh, wow, Mr. H is a COVID hoaxer. Because that's what it sounded like. And they never read their chats. I watch the show all the time. They always read the super chats, and that's where you pay. So if someone pay them, they'll read a comment and they'll talk to them. But if you're just a regular viewer who subscribes and occasionally likes their videos and shares them and stuff, like I do, you don't count. Unless you give them money, you don't count. So whatever. I'm not paying them to read a comment. That's just sad. So I was surprised they read a comment, and he called me a pleb and started rattling on, and I'm like, he was saying it doesn't exist, or it's so minimal that it doesn't matter. And what he was saying about people, he was saying the death age in the UK is 81, 82 to 85 or something like that. So these people are going to die anyway. So what does it matter? Why ruin the economy for these people? Such is life. What do you say? Such is life. Basically, grow up, people die, such is life. So, yeah, this is something I am sick of hearing from people. This opinion that, well, it's only a small amount of people who are affected, it's only a small amount of people that die, and they're old, they're going to die anyway, so it doesn't matter. They don't matter. That the economy is more important than people's lives. And I know there are a bunch of capitalist people out there who absolutely love money, and the idea of losing money, not being rich, the idea of not being able to be rich just horrifies them. I get that. I'm surprised that so many people buy into capitalism because it really only benefits the rich. And unless you're rich enough to be in that bracket, you're the one being trodden on by the rich. So I don't get why so many poor people or lower income or average income people just support capitalism and people like Trump who just give tax breaks to the rich and don't really help the poor, I don't get why they're so obsessed with it. But yeah, I was just offended by the idea that the elderly don't matter, that these people don't matter. And also, it's not just elderly people, it's people with immunity issues and health issues. Now, I was born with heart disease, and this is what he brought up. I was born with heart disease. I had open heart surgery. I've been told by several people that doctors and experts that I've managed to contact through the lockdown and everything, that I am at risk, that, yeah, if I got COVID, I would quite possibly, my heart would not survive it. So I haven't been able to leave my house since March 16. I've gone out twice. I went to the chemist to have my flu shot April 28. So I went into lockdown on March 16 myself before the country went into lockdown a couple of days later. And I went out once last week after our second wave, our second lockdown, and we actually got down to 0. We actually went from hundreds of cases, which is nothing compared to the UK, 700 deaths, which is nothing compared to the UK, and we got down to 0. And I actually went to the post office to get something that had been there for 6 weeks because I hadn't been able to get it, because we had COVID everywhere, and we also had a breakout, a cluster right in my area, like literally in my suburb. So I went out to get that. Those are the only 2 times I've left the house, like during the day when there's, and gone into a building, as opposed to just like going to like the bin or going to the mailbox or something, which is the most I've done, which I normally do in the middle of the night so I don't have to run into anyone. So the idea that I don't matter, that the economy is more important than people like me, because it's not just me that has this danger. And I'm sure if it was him or someone in his family that had a vulnerability or were elderly and vulnerable, he probably would care more, because it doesn't affect him. And this is what, I don't just want to talk about him because I don't know him. So I can't be 100% sure if he's just saying stuff to be controversial because he wants to be the British who's that long-haired, like, American shock jock? What's that guy's name? Howard Stern. Maybe he wants to be the British Howard Stern. I don't know who the equivalent of that is. That guy's always trashing Madonna. God, I don't know any of these guys' names. Whatever. When people say, old people are going to die anyway, what does it matter? It's only a certain percent. It's like 1% or something. Number one, that's not accurate. Close, but not accurate. Number two, it's not just dying. It's not just you either get it, you die, or you don't. There are long-term complications and health issues, especially for people with issues already like me. I may not die from it, but I could have serious heart problems for the rest of my life, and my standard of living, my life could be just ruined if I get this thing. But that doesn't matter to him because economy. And I'm like, well, if your country had shut down your economy right away, instead of siding with Trump and being like, oh, there's no problem, until your prime minister got the COVID and then you realise, oh shit, this is actually a threat, then he started doing some stuff about it. If you'd gone into lockdown right away and treated it like Australia did, and if America had done the same thing, you guys wouldn't be in the situation now that you're stretching this thing out so long that you are killing your economy. If you'd gone into a short lockdown, dealt with it, come out of it quick, you wouldn't have the problems you're having now. And blaming it on sick people and old people, I just got offended, and I'm like, I just had to say, oh great, so he's a COVID hoaxer. He's basically saying it doesn't exist. He's minimising it. And so he actually read the comment and read a couple of comments, and he remembered me from the other thread, and he said, oh, this guy's got a chip on his shoulder because he can't leave his house or whatever, and he wants to take it out all on us, basically, making the victim the villain. And I'm like, well, I have to comment on this. Like, my videos are my COVID therapy because I can't go out, I can't talk to anyone. So I went from making them just for fun, but making them just to vent and talk about stuff. And that pisses me off in general, and pissed me off specifically because he remembered that I had that problem, and he was like, well, I'm talking about you. I'm saying you don't matter. So, so yeah, and Another thing that happened though was Mecca was in the chat too, and Mecca is someone, Mecca Random, someone who I was one of the first individual YouTubers I started watching and I've always watched, and I do like her. I don't always agree with what she says, just like Mr. H, and I've made comments to her before and she's just, whatever. But she was in the chat too, and she made the comment. First she said basically that I was a hypochondriac. If you're hypochondriacs, afraid to leave your house, it's basically your problem or whatever. And the other comment that she made was basically if you're sick, stay inside. Don't, take it out on the rest of us. I have been staying inside, Mecca. I haven't left my house more than twice. And I'm probably going to be in my house until there's a vaccine. Because even though we locked down serious, we took it serious, and we got our numbers down to 0, and it's probably safe for me to go out, I'm still not going to take that risk unless I have to, unless it's something important like getting the scans and blood tests and things done that I have to get done because of my health problems. I've been putting those off. I'm probably going to go out and do them soon because I can't put them off any longer. But aside from that, assuming I can continue working from home and surviving financially, I'm not going to leave the house until there's a vaccine because I don't want to take that risk. Even if there's only 1 in a million chance, I don't want to be that 1 in a million person. I don't want to take that risk if it means 6 months or a year and like living like a prisoner in my house to have the rest of my life with normal health so I can live the rest of my life. I'm going to do that. And that is my choice. I'm not asking anyone else to do that, but the government needs to take responsibility for the whole population, not just some of the people or the majority. They have to take care of everyone. If that means a controlled lockdown for a short period of time to deal with an issue like this, that's what they need to do. Unfortunately, some countries haven't done that. Now they're stuck with huge spread that they probably can't get under control. And it's a mess. But what I can't stand is people minimizing that and acting like it doesn't matter, it's not a problem, it doesn't matter to me, it only matters to a small amount of people, so it doesn't matter. That's the attitude I hate. That's the attitude I see from people like Mr. H, because it doesn't affect him, doesn't matter, because it's only a small amount of people, it's just you don't matter. And that's why I said in the comments, I said, oh, I get it, I'm disposable, I don't matter, fine. Well, obviously I matter to me, and I think in general I matter. I think my life is as important as Mr. H's or Mecca Random's or Donald Trump's or anyone else's. And apparently there's something wrong with that. Apparently there's something wrong with saying that. Apparently I should value myself so little that I put the economy over other people, over my own life, that I should care more about other people's jobs. You can get another job. Your business dies, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if you worked really fucking hard at something and it died. I'm sorry, but you can rebuild it. You can't if you're fucking dead. Or if you can't fucking stand up because of your heart problems and you can't do anything because your living standards are so low because you can't do anything because you're so sick because of something like that. Because I need to stop this video. It's getting too long. And all the different health complications people can get for different... I've done a bit of research on this and I can't go through it all, but it's not as simple as the flu. It's not as simple as you die or you don't, and it's only old people that die. It's more complicated, so people minimize it and act like it's that simple. They simplify it, they minimize it, and they try and act like it doesn't matter. That pisses me off. So you'll never watch this, Mecca. You'll never watch this, Mr. H, because I'm not important enough for you to watch one of my videos. If I had 100,000 viewers, you'd be watching because you'd be worried about what people think about what I'm saying about you. But you don't care. That drives me nuts as well. I care about you guys even though I don't even know you. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you. And I would want, even if you're the minority, to be taken care of just as much as I would want people to care about me. Apparently that makes me wrong or stupid or a pleb or something, because I care about other people as much as myself, and I think I should matter. People matter to me, so I think I should matter too to them. I'm insane apparently. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Mr. H or Mecca Random. I love his voice. He's got a very sexy voice, and he looks like a gym bunny. That's what I asked him. I said, "Are you a gym bunny?" And he's like, "Yeah, I go to the gym." He didn't get he was talking to a gay guy. He didn't get the questions, which is funny. But yeah, I'm gonna go and have a nice relaxing day and try not to think about this sort of thing. Thanks, bye.